Hi, this is Bart Langley at Bass Mafia Tackle. I'm here today with good friend Greg Hackney. Greg, tell us about the new XO series rod and reels from Quantum.
Well, you know, XO actually came out last year, but this is really the big, this year will be the big year for it. You know, really it's basically the same technology from the past, but without the weight. You know, these reels are real similar to the PT series that's from the past that Quantum's had. But what they've done, they've actually just cut out all the weight that you don't need. And, you don't really think about a couple ounces in a reel making a big difference, but, for me, it's, I'm fishing 6, 7, sometimes 14 days straight, and you know what, it starts to work on your hands, your elbows, and so now with the rod, I mean, you're talking, not a pound of weight in the rod and reel together, this being a 7/6 flipping stick, and that really means a lot. When you start to get tired, after a long day on the lake, or you're just out fishing or whatever, when it gets late in the day and you start to get tired, it's always when the big one bites. They always seem to slip up on you when you're not thinking about it. And so I just think that all that makes a big difference in staying in tune with what's going on.
Okay. Staying with that, tell us about your new, I saw this at ICAST, saw you in the Strike King booth, new Hack Attack heavy cover spinnerbait.
Yeah, well, the heavy cover line is something that, now we have flipping hooks, 4, 5, and a 6. It's all based around the same series of hooks, which is actually was a hook that was started out in salt water. It's a real heavy hook, and you think, well, I don't need that in freshwater, but it's really important not to have a hook that bends. This spinnerbait's got heavier wire, it's got that big hook for a guy that wants to throw it on braid. I'll be honest with you, I don't throw a spinnerbait a lot on braid. The hookup ratio with this spinnerbait is better than a regular spinnerbait on mono, fluorocarbon, or braid. But the deal is, if you want to throw braid, you won't flex the hook. Same thing with the jig. When I'm flipping the jig, most of the time, 90% of the time, I do use braid. And a big guy, and you're up close, and we all have a tendency to get jacked up. That's the reason we do this. Yeah. Well, when one slacks the line, the harder a fish bites, the harder you'll swing. It's human nature. Yeah. You just can't. There he is. You know what I'm saying? And if you'll pick up on one and he's just sitting on it, normally, everything is done properly. But it's that deal when you go unconscious, when you flip in there and all of a sudden slack comes in a line, or you see one get the bait, or big bull, when the bait goes in, and so you'll have a tendency to pull too hard. And the weakest point on any bait is the hook. And what will happen on a hook that'll flex when you put all that pressure with that big rod or whatever, and that fish may have that bait completely engulfed, but as that hook opens up a little bit, it'll cut its way out instead of it punching right through. So many times, you'll flip in a place and get a hard bite and set the hook, and when you catch the fish, he's hooked right here. And the reason for that is that hook is flexed and opened, and it'll never go through. It just keeps tearing its way out, and then it catches, out on the mouth. Normally with this hook, without it flexing, if it gets started deep in the crushers, that's where it's going in at. And I'll be honest with you, I very seldom, I don't care how big they are. With this hook, I don't have to lip them and I wind them up and throw them over in the boat, because I'm not, once that big hook has found a place to get in,
it's there.
99% of the time it's not coming out.
We're big swim jig folks here on Dardanelle, and I noticed y'all came out also with a new heavy cover swim jig.
Right.
It's the same hook as the flipping bait?
Yeah, same hook as the flipping bait. The quarter and the 3/8 both have a 4/0, and the half ounce has the 5/0. But basically it's our same swim jig head that we've had in our heavy cover swim jig in the past, but we beefed it up with that hook, because a lot of guys now, like here's a lot of water willow, or you're swimming a jig in pad fields, or heavy cover, and you're not using mono or fluorocarbon, you're using braid, and again, to keep from flexing that hook. And I'll be honest with you, with not much pressure, with the exception of these hooks, everybody's hook out there, including some that we put in other baits, will flex. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I've tried everything out there. The deal is we developed rods for braid, braid, the line, the rod, the whole 9 yards, but nobody really came out with a hook for it. And so we actually had to go into the saltwater world to find a hook that's strong enough. This hook actually started as a saltwater trailer hook. I mean, you can catch a 100-pound tuna on this hook. Gotcha. But the deal is all that, you think about a 100-pound fish pulling hard, but I'm thinking about a 200-plus pound. The average bass fisherman, roughly weigh around 200 pounds. Yeah. And so he's the guy that's putting all the pressure on the hook. And we're up close with low stretch line, and when you take no stretch line and you're 10 foot away, you're putting a lot of pressure on everything. Everything happens real fast.
Okay. Greg, we appreciate you coming by. Watch for Greg Hackney in the Classic. Practice starts this coming Friday. Greg will be running a Bass Mafia wrap. We'll be posting pictures of that. Greg, we wish you the Best of luck at the Classic. Go get them.